I joined a Dungeons & Dragons group to learn how to play. I stayed around for 6 months. I never even got to actually play. And then I got removed after I told them I was gay. Yeah, this is one of those D&D stories. I joined this group because I wanted to learn the game. I wanted to understand how their sessions worked, how the DM ran the campaign, how the players interacted, and how I could eventually become part of it. For around 6 months, I was sitting in on their main campaign, getting a feel for the table, and even talking with them about possibly bringing in my own homebrew content. There were no major issues, no complaints about my behavior, no problems with how I interacted, no accusations that I was disrupting the game, because I never even got the chance to play. Then the conversation shifted to religion. They asked if I was Christian, and I explained why I had issues with Christianity. I talked about how religion had been forced on me by family members for years. Then I was honest. I told them I was gay. And that is when everything changed. They told me the Bible forbids homosexuality. Then the conversation turned into the same kind of argument LGBTQ people hear all the time. That being gay comes from trauma. That being gay is damage. That people are not really born that way. And then, while saying all of that, they still tried to say, "I'm here for you." But here's the truth. You cannot tell someone you are there for them while treating their sexuality like something broken. That is not support. That is judgment with softer wording. Then came the final message. They told me their group was a Christian D&D group and that they had to remove me because of this. And they said if I repented and gave my life to Jesus, I could rejoin. So let's be clear. I was not removed because I ruined a campaign. I was not removed because I disrespected the table. I was not removed because of anything I did in-game. I was removed after I was honest about being gay. That is the timeline. 6 months around the group? Fine. Sitting in and learning? Fine. Talking about homebrew? Fine. Being gay? Apparently that was the deal breaker. And the wildest part is that this is Dungeons & Dragons, a game where people play tieflings, warlocks, clerics, necromancers, dragonborn, elves, monsters, gods, and fantasy creatures. But somehow, a gay person sitting at the table was too much. That is not about protecting the game. That is not about table rules. That is religious exclusion. And yes, people are allowed to have beliefs. But when those beliefs become the reason you remove someone because of who they are, that is discrimination. I am making this video because people need to understand something. A D&D table should not require someone to hide who they are just to be accepted. If I was welcome for 6 months before they knew I was gay, then the problem was never my behavior. The problem was their prejudice. And to anyone who has been pushed out of a gaming space, friend group, or community because of who you are not broken. You are not damaged. You are not something that needs to be fixed before you are allowed to belong. You deserve a table that judges you by your actions, your creativity, your respect, and your willingness to learn, not by whether your sexuality fits someone else's beliefs. I joined that group to learn D&D. Instead, I learned exactly what kind of table I do not want to sit at. If you have ever dealt with discrimination in a D&D group or gaming community, leave a comment below. Because D&D is supposed to be about imagination, but basic human decency should not have to be fantasy.